Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. Today I have 3 replays to show you in a brand new Tier 8 French premium medium tank, the AP AMX 30, which came out on Tuesday. So before I get on with the replay, as it's a new tank, I'll just briefly go over some details about the tank. It's basically a fast medium tank with a top speed of 65 kilometers an hour. It can get to that top speed very quickly because it's got fantastic power to weight. That's probably the main, for me, the strong point in that tank is that mobility, the way you can get around the map. It also has 11 degrees of gun depression, which is very nice for those ridgeline fightings. And it has a pretty decent gun. It's got 300 alpha, which is nice on the tier 8 mediums. It can be a little bit derpy if you don't run all the like vert stabs and all the crew to increase your gun stability. But once you've got all of that on it, it's absolutely fine, to be honest with you. And yeah, it's a really good tank. It has no armor whatsoever. And that's basically it. You know, the other good point about it is you can reverse. It's got good reverse speed. And yes, that's pretty much it. I mean, what I'll do is I like to just get on to the replay so I don't have to keep rambling and just show you in the game what the tank can do. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I will shut up and let's get on with the replay. Okay, so on to the first map, which is Sand River. There is no enemy fun police and there is no enemy light tank, which is nice. But we are bottom tier, so we do have to be a little bit careful because there's obviously a lot of big guns. And our armor's not going to stand up much to the tier 10 tanks. I say this tank does have 0 armor, but the turret itself, you can bounce a few shots off your turret when you're using your gun depression, but it's not it's not to be relied upon. But it does happen, and the armor's a little bit of a weird angle, so occasionally you do get the odd ricochet just because the automatic ricochet angle. But on the most part, your whole armour is pretty bad. Most tanks are going to pen it, and they're not going to struggle to deal with you like that. The main good thing about this tank, as I say, is the mobility. And we're going to use that now because we tried to go to the position which we like to take at the start from this spawn, but we've got too many tanks there, and we're just going to end up getting in each other's way, and it's going to be a bit counterproductive, and we're probably going to end up eating shots because of that. So I'm going to try and relocate to this side of the map and see if we can get, just see what we can do, see if we can work out any different angles, work out how to get some damage into this game. Unfortunately, the other side of the map is uncontested, so the enemy, they can actually, surround us. If they start playing the ridge in the sort of middle of the map, they can put us under some real pressure because that would light all our friendly teams in the base, and they would struggle to be getting shots in that scenario. So the map control's not fantastic at the moment, and I'm just trying to work out where I can actually get some damage in. So we've seen a little shot on this aviary. We get a nice pen there into aviary, but we've got to be very, very careful because how deadly that tank is, especially when we've got no armour. They can easily pen us in the hole with the standard 185 penetration rounds of the standard, and that would just one-shot us. So we're very easy to be one-shot by that tank, so we have to be a little bit careful. So we're just trying to just see what we can do. Unfortunately, because a lot of the enemy medium tanks are sort of pushed up this side as well on the right, I can't really play this position without getting lit, because if I got lit where I got detected, I'm going to take a lot of punishment. So I'm having to try and rethink. I'm just trying to work out what I can do, to be honest, at this point. It's a little bit awkward, but 2 tanks down. I'm just looking to find a shot there. I left it a little bit longer than I normally would before I went back in, because the reverse speed this tank is nice. So when you're going down a ridge line, it can help you when you're looking for shots. One thing I would say about this tank is, because the gun is central, the turret is central, you do often have to poke up a little bit higher sometimes, or when you're going, if you're trying to look around a corner or something. And that does mean that you can actually get detected a lot of time before you've actually got your gun around the corner. So at this point, I've decided that I can't, it's not working for me there. I'm going to try and go back and see if I can do something about the tanks, surrounding us at our base. I actually managed to spot something and pick up 1,500 assistance on the way back, which is really good. And this is the beauty of this tank. Like I say, the mobility. I was at one side of the map, doesn't take long to get back to the other side of the map and try and work out again another angle. I have to keep adjusting this game because I found it difficult to get into the game, and at this point we're getting surrounded, we're losing all map control, and I'm going to try and see if I can deal with these tanks pushing our base, because otherwise we're going to lose our base and then we really are going to be in trouble. I know this dragon is a one-shot to us. I'm just going to push and try and get a shot in, even if it means I eat one. I need to just take out this tank as quickly as possible. Now the dragon's a one-shot, I'm expecting to eat one at this point. Thankfully, actually, it do bounce, and that's what I say. Sometimes that sort of auto ricocheted angle can work in your favour. And we managed to take out that dragon, and the leopard is now, retreating. Sorry. And I'm just going to try and clear this side of the map now, so we can try and deny the enemy some sort of map control. And this game has sort of turned around into a sort of 7 versus 7. We spot this FV up at the heavy tank on the far hand side and this left hand side. It's kind of stuck in the middle of nowhere here. I want to try and get a few shots in. This tank, what we're shooting at now, does get set on fire a lot, so I'm kind of hoping that maybe I might be able to damage his engine and get a shot in. We do damage his engine there, but so I'm thinking if I shoot them again, good chance that maybe they get set on fire. It's not happened, but he's in a really, he's a one-shot now. He's an awkward situation. He is pre-aiming me, but hopefully we should be able to sneak in the finish, and we do. Another thing I haven't mentioned yet, this tank, when you're firing on the move, the accuracy is really poor. When you're stationary and you've got all your accuracy, things on, it's fine, but the aim time is pretty good, so it's not too much of a big deal. So we brought this game back now to 7 versus 6. We managed to pick up 2,000 damage and 2,300 assistance. We're trying to get a shot in that AVRE. Awkward to pen it from this angle, to be honest, but we do track them in pace and then actually pick up a little bit more assistance, bringing us on to 2,700, and we're just seeing if we can get a shot into the leopard. They've pushed round now because they're getting pushed by our friendly team, and I'm going to try and push round and see if I can take some of these tanks out. The leopard gets taken out, so it's just the AVRE now, but I've got to be careful because I don't want to just push in close to take out this AVRE on the basis that, as I say, I am a one-shot. While I'm full health, I'm a one-shot to that tank, and engaging it in a brawl-like scenario, they're going to win. At least they should, because they can just eat the shot from me and then make sure they punish me and pen with that HE round. So I'm decided again to use my mobility and get round to a different side. And as you can see, you've got 65 kilometers an hour, but your power to weight's good. So I'm really not that slow when I'm climbing quite a steep incline. It doesn't take a lot of time to get to your top speed. So I'm going to try and move around to deal with this AVRE, and then we can deal with the 3-man tank destroyer platoon, the tier 10 tank destroyer platoon. So obviously a very dangerous platoon. I think they've got an S-bar, a Turan, and the E100. So lots of tanks which could ruin my game very, very quickly. I'm suspecting they're either in their base or they pushed around into like the K0 area. So we're going to move that way now, because if we spot them up here, we can potentially pick up quite a lot of assistance. Now we do spot them, but we get lit in return, and I'm panicking now that Yagi 100 is going to get a shot into me. Thankfully for me, I don't, and I do get a little bit more assistance because they were kind of in the open. I was hoping I was going to pick up a lot of assistance there, because they're all my detectors here. So anything shooting at these, I'm going to be picking up some assistance damage. They've now pushed right back into the corner, which means I'm probably going to be able to actually move closer and keep them detected, and maybe use the ridges in front of them to keep myself safe. I'm just seeing if we could have penned that Yagi 100. There's no real shot on there for me. Maybe I could have hit a cupola, but very unlikely. I want to try and detect the other 2 tank destroyers. One is the Turan, which is going to be incredibly hard for me to spot, and the other one is going to be the S-Bomb. We get detected here. I need to duck right back into cover so we don't get absolutely annihilated by that S-Barn. And now we're going to try and use a ridge in front of them just to basically keep them proxy spotted. I'll swap to the small map at this point in time, because I don't need the full vision of the map, because I know exactly where they are, and I just want to know if they're going to be coming around or trying to sneak up on me. I want to be able to be alert to that straight away. So it's a 6 versus 3. That they are a 3-man platoon with tanks with guns which can one-shot people. So I've got to be careful, because although you know, we should win this. It doesn't mean you will if you just throw your tank away, because they can just delete tanks very, very quickly, and they'll work, and we know that they're in a platoon, so they're going to be working together. So at this point, I'm just trying to keep poking on this ridge with the aim to keep them detected, basically. This Yagi 100, I want to keep them there, because eventually when my team start to get closer, they're going to have shots at him, and if the Yagi 100 is just focusing me, then hopefully it'll open up some angles for people to shoot him in the side, potentially, where it's going to be a lot easier to penetrate them. Both the S-Bahn and the Terran is underneath me now, so they can't shoot me unless I really overpeak. I would like to overpeak and get a shot in, but unless that Yagi 100 fires, it's not going to be possible for me to do so. But I am picking up a little bit of assistance every now and again when some of these shots are going in, as you see there in that Yagi 100. So I'm just going to keep them detected, so I can keep racking up the assistance damage. You know, even if I can't get the pen in, I'm still, you know, getting some assistance to help with my game. And if they fire, then I'll be able to go in and get the shot. But like I say, the Terran, you know, potentially, you know, it'd have to high roll and then set me on fire, but it is possible, and so he could potentially one-shot me if he got lucky. But he pushes around again, and they're all trapped now. I'm picking up more assistance. I'm thinking about going in on the Terran, but now turning his attention to me, and I think if he does drive around, he's going to get shot and taken out by the team. I would like to try and get a bit more damage, and now that Terran has been destroyed, the Yagi 100 is going to be a lot easier to deal with. We tried to track him in place there, but now we're just going to go in. You know, this game's done, this game's won at this point, and I want to just move in and get another shot, maybe another 2 shots if I'm lucky. We get one into the side of the Yagi 100. We then decide that, you know what, we're ramming, which is not a good tactic, but we did it anyway, and we do at least manage to pick up the kill. And bring us then to replay number 1. So let's just see how we got on. We got 2,000 damage, 3 kills, and 4,700 base XP. We get the medal for killing a couple of tier 10 tanks and only a first class for the first replay. But we've got 2 more to come, so I will move on and we'll see how we get on with the next replays. Okay, so on to the second replay here on Muro. This time we are top tier. There is 1 enemy fun police in the game and a couple enemy light tanks. Now at the start of the game I was kind of, I headed to the wrong side. I decided I actually wanted to play the field, so we can sort of make use of that gun depression and you know, as we are top tier, you can actually, I said at the start it doesn't have much armour, but when you're fighting tier 5s and 6s, etc., or sorry, tier 6s, you can actually bounce a few shots off of your turret armour. So I'm going to go and try and use the middle field position at the start, see if we can get any punish, see if we can spot up any of the tanks. We unfortunately that shot on the light tank does derp, but I say it is a little bit derpy, but once you put all the equipment on and if you're not moving when you're firing, it's not too bad. We get a nice one into the Sturm Tiger, looking for a second shot if we can. The enemy team's a little bit distracted here because our lights are just full-sended in, so just a lot of the enemy team are they're taking the focus away from our enemy team. I'm not saying it's a great decision because you're probably going to get yourself killed, but I'm going to make use of that and try and get some shots in while the enemy team are distracted. We get another one through the light tank, and as we can see, we have won the field now. There's like 1 tank which is on the left hand side. Once we've taken care of this tank, we've got full control of the field location, and once we've done that, it means we can really put on the pressure and squeeze the enemy team, so they're kind of trapped. At that point they either have to push down the 1-2 line, or they're just going to get stuck in a location where we're going to surround the enemy team, and that normally ends one way once you manage to do that. So we picked up a kill, picked up 1,000 damage and a tiny bit of assistance. But now I want to make my way down to the location where I wanted to go. Taking quite an aggressive route just because I'm abusing their speed, and I wanted to get there as quickly as I possibly can, because I can see a lot of tanks where I've got side shots too. If I can try and get into the left hand side of the map, I'm going to push here and get hold down, and now I've got 3 farm shots. We get 1 into the heavy tank there. We got pulled back down. We are detected, like I say, but the enemy team have a lot of targets to shoot at right now, and we're able to try and squeeze in a few shots. Now we've lost a spot. We can try and use these bushes. I mean, the camo of this tank is okay. It's kind of average. It's not. It doesn't excel at its camo, but get it down to around 300 or thereabouts. It's not amazing, but it does the job. But it's average basically in that department. We get a nice shot there into the heavy tank. We see that the fuel tank was damaged. So we go for another shot in the fuel tank, and hopefully we should set them on fire, and we do. That's a great thing. I do like the adjustments to the interface now, where we can see what modules are actually damaging, because before it was like really awkward to actually check that, and now it's just so easy because it's just dead in fire where you're actually looking. You just know exactly what you have damaged, etc. So we get a shot into the medium here, and you see the enemy tanks now are in a really awkward crossfire. We managed to pick up a little bit of damage and another kill. It's still a fairly even game, score-wise. It's just that we've taken a lot of the control away from the enemy team, and I'm able to put in a few shots. I should kill this SDA here. Unfortunately, it doesn't go true and hits its track. That's just a bit unfortunate. I'm hoping I'm still going to be able to get the kill. I do get the kill, but I don't get as much damage because obviously it gets shot in return, but we do pick up the kill there. Looking for a shot on the medium with 1 hit point, and we do pick up the kill, confirming that 1 extra hit point for our damage total. And now we're going to just move forward. I don't want to shoot this heavy tank on the move here because I don't want to be detected in this point, because I'm in a bit of a kill zone until I get close. Now I'm a lot safer because I've taken away the enemy guns in front of me because I'm underneath this ridge. We managed to pick up the kill. Only 5 tanks remaining. It's just about trying to maximise this and try and get as much out as we can. We get 1 into the Chiwi there, and just looking for the kill shots here. We have already got 5 kills. Unfortunately, the TD gets taken out before we're able to fire. And we just want to push in. The Sturm Tiger, obviously I don't really want to eat a shell off of that, but at this point it doesn't matter because I am full hit point, so I get slapped, and I actually bounced a shot off the Sturm Tiger there. Looking for the finish of the light tank, but then I think I can actually kill the Sturm Tiger there, and I do pick up another kill. It's just about how much I can get out this last stage of the game. We pick up another kill, and then it's just a barrage. We want to try and ram them to take off the tracks to stop them getting away. We do ram them, we don't track them, but we are able to then see if we can potentially get a kill shot. And in a very quick space of the game, we actually managed to pick up Radleys there. Thankfully for them, shots going in, and pick up just shy of 5,000 damage and 1,300 assistance. So a really decent game. And yeah, that's it for the second replay. A bit of a quick one, but let's get on to the final replay of the video. Okay, so here we are for the final map here on Redshire. We are top tier again. This time we do have 1 enemy fun police and 2 enemy light tanks. Now initially I'm just going to push up to the ridge so we can utilise our gun depression and see if we can spot any enemy tanks. And it's a good position to play, especially when you've got, when you're in a medium with 11 degrees of gun depression. You can quite often get a nice few cross shots. Unfortunately, we get lit early here because the enemy light tank manages to spot us, and that makes it a little bit awkward because obviously when I am peeking, I've got I potentially to get shot. I'm trying to use this rock in front of me to at least limit the shots the enemy team will have at us. But if there is tanks on my left hand side, then they might potentially get shots into us. So we're going to see if we can try and spot which is is a tank which is detecting us, and I think it's either going to be that light tank or there is a few stealthy TDs potentially in that bush. A lot of the enemy team gets detected there on their ridge, and thankfully the enemy fun police gets taken out nice and early, which is very, very helpful because I don't have to worry about that now. Now this enemy freedom, or the unskinned freedom, is now caught in the open, and we're just going to try and get the punish as best we can while they're in an unsafe location. It's in a bit of a kill zone for us. Unfortunately, there's a lot of tanks you see on the left hand side, and they are getting shots into me as I peek for that tank, which is a shame because I wanted to try and take that out while I had the opportunity. But I don't want to, got to be careful because I don't want to lose all my hit points by a too aggressive poke there. Pretty close game. We've got an opportunity to pick up another shot there into that medium as he pokes around. We do pick up a tiny bit of resistance as well, We're looking to see if we can get another. I want to try and take out this Freedom because I can see on the mini-map that he is still in that location. And I want to just get rid of that tank while I can before we get us into a safe location where we're unable to get shots in. But I'm also just trying to do my best to be as careful as I can about these tanks here on the left. We managed to pick up a kill on that bottom tier medium there as he crosses in, trying to get into position. And managed to catch me out, pick up our first kill of the game. Then got an opportunity to try and shoot those tank destroyers, and we do pick up another kill there. We just managed to sweat that one in. And now again we're going to try and pay our attention to that Freedom, but there's another heavy tank crossing. And it gets unlit, but we just take the shot anyway because obviously they're still going to be there, and we get a blind shot in there. And now we put that enemy Freedom, who is paying attention to us now, onto a one shot. So hopefully we can try and get this shot in. We're snapping that shot in because I'm trying to not take any damage in return. Unfortunately, we don't pen. I'm going to try, and because it is frontally facing us, I need to try and see if I can hit the cupola here. And we do actually manage to just squeeze that in and pick up another kill, dealing with that threat. And this game is now still very close on a 10 versus 11. Neither team really have got complete control of the map. It is pretty evenly spread out at the moment. I've had a decent start to the game, picked up 2 kills, 2,600 damage, but there's a lot left in this game to be done. I'd love to take out that enemy light tank if I could, because that would get rid of the enemy vision basically. Our friendly medium tank now pushes in, and I've just spotted in the corner of the map eye that this mutt is actually about to full send that tank. And I want to try and help them out basically. He's tried to make a play for our team, and I want to try and help him out, see if I can. I'm just going to go in and try and deal with this tank. The light tank comes in on me as well, so I'm going to need to just focus the mutts, take the mutts out, and then I can turn my attention to that light tank. Light tank's a 2-shot to us. We're hoping we can get one in, but he does manage to get back round in the cover, but we don't really eat much damage out of that, and we do manage to keep our medium alive. Which is always nice when you can keep your friendly teammates alive. So we managed to get 3k damage now and 3 kills. Again, very close game still. It's pretty much down to the wire all the way through on this one, which you don't often get that. You normally get a lot of games where it's just one way or the other, and it is nice when you get an even game and you need to try and think and try and get try and see if you can try and win the game. Now, I thought that T29 was going to back up there, and I wanted to track them in place. Unfortunately for me, they don't, and because of that, I ended up missing an opportunity to get a bit of damage while the T29 was spotted in an awkward location. Unfortunately for me, our medium tank does now get taken out by this light tank. Again, I want to try and take out this light tank. They are one shot to us. An enemy medium tank exposes itself, and I get an extra shot in there, putting us on to 3,000 damage. But I want to try and deal with this light tank, because at this point in the game, this is when the light tanks are, in their strongest. When there's not a lot of tanks on either team, you can try and outspot tanks, and especially on a map like this, they can be a real threat. And thankfully for me, we do manage to pick up that kill and deal with that scenario. But it's still close. It's still 7 versus 6. And we're going to try and go back up to that ridge and see if we can get any more shots in. Seeing we can deal with this medium tank that's pushing. But then I noticed 2 TDs are pushing straight down the one line. And that's now 4 tanks out of the 6 remaining. We know exactly their positions. And I'm going to try and relocate, because I'm going to get caught in a crossfire if I stay on that ridge. But as I say, we know 4 of the tanks out of the 6 are there. So that only leaves 2 tanks. So I'm thinking maybe one of the heavy tanks. At this point I haven't looked at the map, so the score, so I thought it was enemy T29, and I thought maybe the enemy T29 will be by themselves, and I can just come behind and take out that enemy T29, and then that in turn would win this side of the map. But I want to just make sure we spot anything which comes around. And as we move round, we actually fire full health medium tank and this enemy autoloader zoomer, which is very not a good situation to be in, because that heavy tank can clip us out very easily, and this is not going to work basically. So I need to just abandon that plan and get out of there and try not to eat any damage. We get 1 shot, which I think we've got out of that okay. I mean, that could have gone south very quickly. Thankfully for the mobility of this tank, it does allow you to get out of those situations. And yeah, I'm going to have to abandon that plan and try and think again. But the enemy TDs have now, you know, where we had 2 enemy teams TDs pushing down, have now pushed right round into our base. So I'm going to try and have to deal with those, and then we can deal with the 2 tanks which are on the other side of the map. One of the TDs was a Hellcat, which is obviously a tier 6 tank, and wasn't full hit points, and the other one was like a tier 7 tank destroyer tank. And we're going to try and push over there to see if we can get any shots in. The Hellcat comes round, he gets shot by our friendly team. We miss our snapshot on the move because it's not very accurate, as I say, when you're moving this tank. And I want to try and get that round now and kill that tank destroyer. Unfortunately, a bit of poor driving by me there. I was trying to get round as quickly as I can so that Hellcat doesn't escape and get his shot basically onto our friendly one-shot tank destroyer. So I want to try and get round and get a shot in. I'm going to try and use this ridge as it looks like it's going to, you know, cross up high. We can't get a shot in the Hellcat now, but we do finish off the other tank destroyer. Unfortunately for me, the Hellcat does take out our friendly TD, but now I should have the kill on this Hellcat. I got shot at something on the left, so I don't know if that's a medium or the other tank destroyer. I need to try and now get safe. I'm going to use this wreck to try and you know, protect me from enemy shots, and that it was an enemy Yahtzee. At this point in the game, now I know the enemy other 2 tanks are on the right hand side. They're kind of defended a little bit by our tank destroyer. The Yahtzee is a very dangerous tank, you know, at top tier. So obviously though it doesn't have a turret, so if I can get behind the Yahtzee, then I'm going to kill the tank. And I want to try and think, if the Yahtzee stays up on that ridge, I want to try and use my mobility to get round the side of them and again get 3 shots. I do actually run silent driving on this tank, so there's obviously less chance of me getting detected on the move. I think it is quite a good crew equipment for this tank. You are moving around the map quite a lot because you have that fantastic mobility. So the Yahtzee has now moved, so I haven't got as easy shots. It looks like he's coming, you know, maybe back towards to cover his teammates. So I'm thinking I can get up on this ridge and use the enemy's ridge and potentially get shots in him as he escapes. But then the Yahtzee comes back, we get one in, we're going to try and get back into cover now, so we can use our gun depression. I have the benefit of having an enemy fun police here, so the good chance are this is the only tank spotted. He's probably going to be shooting here. And the Yahtzee, you know, if he stays stationary for too long, is going to get slapped by our friendly fun police. I'm under a little bit of pressure in the sense that if the enemy 2 mediums push me, then I am going to be in a 1 versus 3. But chances are they won't. You know, not all of them might not have been pushing at the same time. Yahtzee again gets shot and gets put onto a 1-shot. I'm getting pushed by this medium tank. Annoyingly, I got a bit trolled with that first shot because it would have put the medium onto a 1-shot, and then that second shot goes above them, which is making this more harder than it should be. I'm still going to win this race, but it has meant that I'm going to I bet more shots than I really needed to, you know. But I do manage to pick up the kill anyway. Puts us on to 7 kills, 5,000 damage, 1,000 assistance, 1 tank remaining. I'd like to try and get over there. It's at CS and see if we can pick up the Radleys at the end of the game. It has got now detected though, so he's kind of caught in the open there, so he might get shot by our TD or fun police. I'm just hoping I get there as quickly as I can, because, you know, it would be nice to end this game with 8 kills. I did actually you know, have a potential chance of picking up the pools in this game. Unfortunately, you know, it just didn't quite work out for me. But that medium gets taken out, and that brings us into the replay. So it was a pretty close game all the way through that one. But we ended up having a good game, even though we had to work for it a little bit. We got 7 kills, 5,000 damage, and 1,000 assistance. So that is it for the replay. What do I think of this tank? Is it worth it? I think, well, if you like medium tanks, which are quick and got gun depression, you're probably going to enjoy it. I mean, what I would say for this tank, it's not overpowered, but it is solid. You know, it's a good choice. I like the tank, but yeah, I guess it really comes down to your play style. But anyway, thanks for watching, and as always, happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!